reprinting exactly the same material. But I don't see Rupert Murdoch being attacked by the American government or the Australian government. Now, what's the USA done? Well, the USA branded him a terrorist. They got Visa and MasterCard and PayPal to cut off the source of funds to WikiLeaks. They arrested the whistleblower, Bradley Manning, who arguably may have committed offences if in fact he's the person who leaked the material, and that's very far from clear. But having arrested him, that was not enough. They then threw him in the brig, where he's been held for more than 8 months, and for most of that time held naked and kept in the dark, and they've been preventing him from having adequate access to his lawyers. Have they done... Indeed, I mean, most people wouldn't think it was a terrible thing to be free of lawyers, but, you know, there are times when they're useful. What have they done wrong? Well, they're up to their old tricks, denying basic human rights at every turn. I mean, Bradley Manning might just as well be in Guantanamo Bay for the sort of treatment which he is receiving. And this for a country which was founded on the principles and ideals of the rule of law. The USA has really disgraced itself many times in the last few decades, but especially in its treatment of Bradley Manning and in its attacks on Julian Assange. Australia, well, what have we done? Well, the first thing we did, day one, was to denounce him. The Prime Minister denounced him as a traitor. They promised that they would help the USA bring him to justice. They threatened to cancel his passport. Well, what's wrong with that? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. We bloody well betrayed one of our own citizens. From the time of Hobbes and Locke and the English Civil War, it has been plainly understood that in Western democracies, the basic transaction between citizen and state is that citizens cede some of their autonomy and hand it to the state. They owe loyalty to the state, and the state owes them protection, which is the very reason that we have states. Forgive me for being a lawyer just for a moment, but in the famous trial after the Second World War of Lord Haw Haw, the legal argument turned on this principle, that a person who gets the protection of the state by holding the passport owes them a duty of loyalty. Treason and the state's obligation to protect are opposite sides of the same coin. What Julia Gillard did was the converse of treason. She betrayed an Australian citizen, and of course it's not the first time we've done it, because it was done to David Hicks, it was done to Mamadou Habib. But then let's think for a moment. How many of the people in this